so much for your attention, and thank you, wonderful people, for your love and the commitment and everything I've seen here tonight. I saw Professor Gideon Moi. Yeah, there he is. Thank you so much for your advice, and all of you wonderful people. Pastor, thank you so much. I needed to say something earlier, but then I discovered you were in the room, so I need to be also careful about the things I say here. Because I was going to say that I met a lot of people here, including my boyfriends and Hollywood and girlfriends, and I feared the girlfriend but Pastor, it means girls who are my friends. English has a problem, because he was speaking Israel would say, Wapensi, while I was trying about to come and like, now English doesn't have that. So, Pastor, you don't have a problem, and you know, by the way, because I'm going back home after this trip, I don't want to go back to the doghouse, because there's someone who might lock in the doghouse, so I don't clarify that bit about girlfriends. But anyway, Pastor, you will not need the church board. There are girls who are my friends. And so on. So, thank you so much, wonderful people. So, because we are meeting tonight, just while I'm here and get to say hi to each other, I will not be long, and I will not speak much, because I know we have tomorrow. But allow me to start here. And Steve, this will be partly answering your questions. I have been debating a lot recently, and then you people will need to understand this. I know you will, but if I speak to you very politely and slowly about this, I know you will begin to understand this. Many of you, especially those that have said grew up with me in my village, know that we grew up from humble beginnings. We were raised by parents who were poor materially, but they were very rich in faith, in love, and their determination and focus on what is right in society. And for the entire time that I have served the public service for 10 years as a minister, for which I thank the Lord. I didn't have anything special. I didn't have to be the one appointed. It's just by the grace of God that I got the opportunity. Every single day, for which I thank God and for which I'm happy, was an experience of humility and very humbling. And every time, and then recently when I started doing this, I've been telling my friends, I don't know whether people know how emotional and how humbling public service can be. Let me give you 2 examples. I acted briefly at the Ministry of Lands, and the minister stepped aside. And every day, I would come into the office and you see, how people are suffering and so on. You see crowds of people in areas on the ground floor. So I decided that I would tell my peers and the other people to create a small office for me, so that on Wednesday, on the ground floor, instead of asking Wananchi and other people to come up, to create a small office for me on the ground floor where I could meet those people who had urgent problems that they thought the minister would solve. I didn't use the office for long, for this simple reason. I discovered that it was going to become a health issue to me, because it was going to be, you can emotionally, sometimes you hear things, you go home, you can't even sleep. Because you see, when a widow walks to you and tells you that she has lost her land to people because of fraud involving even public officials, and this poor widow cries before you, and she even tells you that, by the way, even the remains of my husband are on that piece of land, and now they have taken it away and so on. So you're solving those kinds of problems. And every time I came across that, I would get into that situation all the time. Even if you have a heart of stone, those things break you. One time we used to have a problem at one of our landed streets in the Rift Valley. So I decided, as I used to, because I believe that work must be done. Like I used to tell people, education is not delivered at Jogo House. Jogo House will only have fathers and breakfast. Education happens in the schools where our children and our teachers are. So a good part of my week will be spent in schools. And I would wake up without preamble or introduction and turn up at school. And that's how I discovered the challenges and tried to solve the challenges with the teachers, the parents, and the students. Finally, one morning, two journalists from the local vernacular station, the SIFM, after a public meeting, accosted me, ready to me, and said, they are trying to get my attention. Said, they shouted in my mother tongue, because they knew that I would have to listen. Said, you have to help this woman. Ask them what woman. He said, this widow. Said what it seems, they gave me some paperwork and so on. One of those journalists is in this room, James Kishan. For you guys, and then this story I'm going to tell you will tell you the trip of the journey that we are beginning. It will tell you the character of what we are trying to do. Finally, this was the story of a woman who had lived 6 years with the husband's body in the mortuary and her grandson's body in the mortuary for 2 years, somewhere in Kiamka. The problem had gone unresolved. Mother had gone to court so many times, and I was shocked, first of all, when I heard about it. So I promised them, as usual, I will get into it. I got into it, I called everybody responsible, including the Minister for Lands at that time. We had conversations, we called in public officials. We discovered, to our horror, what it was, that actually there was no reason why this woman's husband's body was in the morgue for 6 years. It was an attempt by some public officials and some well-heeled people to defraud her, to steal part of her land. For 6 years, and the cultures we have in Africa, she couldn't even go to a funeral in the next village because she is a widow whose husband has not been buried. And 4 years after the husband had died, and the body the husband was still in the morgue, her grandson died, who also could not be buried. So for 6 years, she had lived that kind of life. Husband's body in the morgue, grandson's body in the morgue. She could not bury them. And when we finally summoned all the public officers to the room, I called everybody to my boardroom at the Ministry of Interior. Then I asked some 2 lawyer friends to get to the matter, read the file, went to court. The lawyers, first of all, were shocked that a magistrate actually gave an order to stop the burying in the first place, because there was no convincing basis upon which this order was given. Then the rest now is history, because we discovered it's a progressive and accumulative story of manipulating and navigating the public sector in favor of the crooks against this poor widow. So I went into this matter with my characteristic energy and insisted that we bury the dead husband, we bury the grandchild, and I mobilized members of the public and professionals from my district to build a brick house for this woman and a brick house for her son. To make sure that people don't repeat this kind of nonsense again, I flew there even with the Minister for Lands to that home to show the village that this is not the way people are supposed to live. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you because still, public service for me is actually an endless journey of eternal humility. It is service to the people. I honestly believe in it, and I believe it from the bottom of my heart. There isn't a single day I was in public life that I didn't wake up thinking about the impact or the effect of what we are doing on the people that we are leading. So, fast forward to this moment now, and I'll speak some more about this tomorrow when we meet. My brothers and sisters, I thank all of you because I can see you here are gathered as Kenyans. And by the way, as Honorable Anthony Kibageni said, I come here with greetings from the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, the Honorable Karua, and my brother Eugene. We talk all the time, and we are always, conversing and consulting what challenges such as you guys know. Why is it different now than it has been before? It's different now because our country is facing very unique challenges. Therefore, I have resolved myself, and I think this is the first invitation I'll make of you, that if we are going to make a difference, first in our individual lives, in our communities' lives, and in the lives of the nation, we must first of all be truthful people. Let's be honest. And face the challenges we are dealing with honesty and sincerity. In 2022, I was invited by Bishop Western to attend a meeting of the Anglican clergy in Nairobi. We were preparing for elections. And I went there and there was a gathering like this, all wonderful people from the Anglican church, clergy. And I actually promised him that time that because he was going to ask us questions about how we were preparing for elections, yes, by exact order number 1 of 2019, President Kenyan had appointed me to coordinate government affairs. I will have turned up at that meeting with the Inspector General of Police, with the Attorney General, with my colleague who was in charge of ICT, the Honorable Joseph Michelle. We spent the afternoon with the clergy at that time. Then they fielded question after question, including about, we are being promised these things, Amamora will get X billions, Border will give you, I don't know how many hundred billions, and I don't know who everybody. Then the clergy asked me, how come you people are not spending money like that in the process? I told him, look, there's one thing I will not do. And by the way, I want to tell you this tonight, because when we are seated in meetings like this, we should never forget that we're in the presence of God. If to get along and to go forward, I'm going to be forced to lie, to start creating things here. Look, I want to be very honest with you. I would rather not get that job. I'm not interested in lying to people, having corners and abusing people's trust, as it were. And I told the clergy who are listening to me that time, those are the videos we have been seeing doing rounds around. Those of you have been cheated, this is a lie. And after the COVID pandemic, now we have a pandemic of lies because of the elections. Outbreak of lies. Everybody, people are just moving around the country lying, telling you things they think you need to hear. Now, we are about to start that pandemic of lies season 2 in Kenya. You see people flying around the country, talking about empowerment, planes flying here, flying there. Every Friday they are busy. 8 choppers there, 9 choppers there, flying around. My brothers and sisters, Don't you ever be bamboozled and lied to by those types of things you're seeing. Our country has got serious challenges. And those challenges, a good number of those challenges are man-made because of bad management and bad decisions we have made in the leadership of the country. And now, drama is being occasioned in the country to hoodwink people, because I honestly believe that if you do your work, you don't need drama, because the results of your work will be seen. For me, if I go home tonight and sleep, when I hear Asha saying what she said about the exam in 2017, that's enough for me. I start from the exam, that the program was managed responsibly, but the right thing was done. I don't have to occasion drama, around here, jump up and down, go look for witch doctors and all who come and say things. The kind of things that we are seeing. Now, I would like you to listen to me, my brothers and sisters. 62 years after independence, we must now have a candid conversation with ourselves about the future of our country. And don't make this drama. Let us make the right decisions for the sake of our country. Because God will hold us responsible. Our children and our children's children will hold us responsible. What did we do at a time when we saw clearly things were going wrong? What did we do? Did we also disappear in that drama? Got excited about that kind of drama, being told things. I said when I was in DMV the other day that all of you people who are here, who are looking at me, nothing speaks much more eloquently about Kenya and the capacity we have as a country than all of you looking at me tonight. When you look at you, you went to school in Kenya, you were educated, then you dared to go abroad. You came here, worked hard, and as I said, I lost count of the number of professors in this room. So how is it then that with that level of exposure and with that level of awareness, we are seeing the things we are seeing in our country? Where now we are debating about reducing money for schools. Who does that when you want to develop your country and education is our gold mine? Because skills development is what we need. By the time we were leaving office in 2022, we had gotten capitation to 22,600. Now it's being reduced to 16,000, and it's not even going to schools. I was reading the General's report last night, and these are the things which as I told you, public service has got its own challenges. I can confess to you, if you are a conscientious leader, someone who thinks about the lives of the people you lead, someone who genuinely thinks about the welfare of the people you interact with, I'll be very frank with you. There's some things you come across and you don't know how to deal with them. You feel so pained. How can we import rice, 500,000 metric tons, and where rice farmers? How? We have closed sugar factories. I'm sure if our national leaders went to that side of the country, they would be singing another song and lying and paying people and trying to bamboozle them with helicopters and so on. Those poor cane farmers are still there. We're importing duty-free sugar. Some of it declared unfit for human consumption. So, what is wrong with us? The challenge I have for you tonight, my brothers and sisters, as we go forward. Many of you in this room are believers. Our country has been given to us as stewards. We will account to the Lord what we did with the country He gave us. When we had an opportunity to listen to these stories, as I said, too much drama. That's why, personally, I have to confess to you, I am more on the side of doing. I would rather people worry about the impact of my work than worry about the speeches I make and the drama I occasion when I arrive in a town. How I talk, life comes to a standstill, and so on, and people must now, bow to me and so on, and beg me and tell me things that are silly. I don't like hearing those things like, oh, you are great here. There's nobody who's us here. We are here to solve problems. And that's why I say it. And this will remain my mantra. I'm coming to you and I'll speak even in greater granular detail tomorrow to ask you that by the grace of God, when we get to that point, I will ask for your vote, but also holding me to account. And when you have given me your vote, I want to work. Even kazi nauliza, I need to use it as well, so that then we go forward. So, my dear friends, I won't tire you because we have a date tomorrow and our time is quite spent. As you leave this room and go home, that's to meet tomorrow, and as you meet fellow Kenyans, those you talk to here and those you speak to at home, think about this. The people who have developed their countries, all these things we admire, my dear sister, the systems work here, I agree with you. These people are not from us. They're human beings that just agreed to get stuff done, to get your work done. So, they're not from us. Just they know 2 and 2 is 4. That's all. They will not import rice when they are rice farmers or rice in their stores. They know our low level of political accountability is worrying. And look, as one politician in this country said, don't agonize, organize. So, let's not agonize. Let's not spend all our time describing our problems. Let's spend a lot of it looking for solutions and organizing ourselves on how we are going to move forward. I never end any remarks these days without saying this. Like you, I have incredible faith in my country. There is nothing wrong with Kenya. Our country is great and God has blessed us with a wonderful country. As I have proved before in public service, even here from this podium, I can give you names of over 50 public servants I worked with before. Because when I arrived in any department, I asked people. First of all, I asked to propose the president. Because you are the one who has asked for votes from Kenyans. So the covenant is between you and Kenyans. I am your program officer. What do you want me to do when I get there? He tells me, like in the case of the Minister of Education, this thing about the examination cheating is going to destroy us as a country. We have a problem with planning content. Figure out how we can resolve the problem. And so on. So, I tell him, boss, mimi ni mtu wa kazi, tomorrow tumeanza. And every time you go there, you meet wonderful people. That's when I worked very closely with the late, my brother, Professor Karua, and all these people. When you sit down, you're brilliant. I mean, we are spoiled for choice. It's shocking that we are performing the way we are in some cases. Smart people who have got solutions. I call in the leaders of the secondary school science association. I shake hands with them. We sit down, we work on solutions. And people have suggestions. All they need is trust. That they trust you as a leader, that what you are telling them is going to work. That you don't tell them today, change it tomorrow, or alternatively, you tell them we are running a free system that's working, but you are the one receiving bribes at night. It doesn't work that way. Because you have to walk the talk, live your word, And nothing beats exemplary leadership. Because people will believe your actions more than they will believe your words. As it were. So, my dear friends, I believe we have a great country. And I can tell you this without fear of contradiction or any doubt or hesitation. We will build our country. We need to pull ourselves together. We will resolve the challenges we have. We will fix them. And we will move forward. We are a resilient country. Our people are great. I can give you numerous examples. I was the Minister for Security during COVID. And during COVID-19, it's incredible what I saw, the spirit of the Kenyan people. The Kenyan stational manufacturers, there's a woman called Phyllis Wakiaga, if you know her, fantastic lady, CEO. Kenyan business people donated a water tank for every police station without anybody paying them.